Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So I could not contain my excitement to get into this cup final, so I am recording this a little bit early considering today is only Sunday and this episode would be going up on Wednesday. But like I said, I wanted to see if this team would win another Stanley Cup because last episode was probably one of the craziest episodes I think I've ever recorded, just based on how much our team fought off elimination and eventually won, because the series we had with the LA Kings was quite a bit of a weird one for us, because obviously the first two games we lost 6-2 and 5-0. So at that point, I was thinking our team definitely wasn't going to have much of a chance. However, we decided to make some drastic adjustments after an injury to Aiden Irving in Game 2. We were like, we got to make some adjustments. So we called up a youngster in Blunden for the next game. His first game, he didn't pick up any points, but we won 8-3. So huge offensive performance from this team. That was a fourth time that we've scored 8+ goals in a playoff game, or third time, I think, actually, at that point. Then the next game was an insane game. We won 8-7 in overtime, getting a huge overtime goal to tie the series from Esteban Walter, and Blunden picked up his first career playoff goal. So at that point, we're back to square one again, and it looks like we're actually starting to play good. Well, the next game we lose 5-3, and once again, we're on the brink of elimination. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to win 2 straight games. Maybe the Kings are going to take us out in 6. Well, the next game, we win 5-4 in overtime. Blunden, in his fourth NHL playoff game, picks up his first career playoff hat trick, including the overtime winner to force a Game 7. So at this point, he's already got 4 goals in his first 3 playoff games. Then we go to a Game 7 back on home ice. He picks up 2 goals, and we also win 6-3 to get ourselves to the Cup Finals. So he has over a goal a game in his first 4 playoff games. He's got 6 goals and an assist. He's been very good. And without him, I don't know if we would have gotten to that Cup Finals. Now, Aiden Irving is still out with an injury, and he will not return till I think maybe potentially Game 7 if we get that far. But this is going to be an interesting Cup Finals because we are facing a lot of former players on this Blue Jackets roster. Now, we were hoping to face the Philadelphia Flyers in the Cup Finals, but unfortunately they lost in 7 games. But I guess we'll take it since the Blue Jackets obviously aren't as strong. And they do have, like I said, a lot of former players on the roster, which is interesting because some guys I didn't even remember about. But then I saw that they were drafted by us. I'm like, oh, damn. So, like, Luke Misa, of course, was with us for quite a while. He was very good as a member of the Winnipeg Jets, as you can see with like that 104-point season. He's been decent with Columbus too, but definitely falling off a bit since his glory days. And he hasn't had much in terms of playoff experience since leaving us, because this is the furthest he's gotten since our Cup win in 2034. So he's obviously really good still, but we got to contain him. There's also Edwin Matsumoto, who we drafted back in the second round of 2030. He played a little bit of time here with our Winnipeg Jets before we had to deal him to the Columbus Blue Jackets because we didn't have enough roster space. And he's also been somewhat decent with the Blue Jackets too. So there is Matsumoto. Aside from that, they have a lot of other good players on their forward group, but nobody that we drafted. But if we go to defense, there is this Dawson Baldwin guy who was drafted by us in the second round of 2032. I almost completely forgot about him. But he didn't get a single chance to play on our NHL roster. Didn't get a chance from the Columbus Blue Jackets and has been pretty solid in terms of picking up some offensive numbers on their blue line. And he's also getting paid some decent money too to do so. So shout out to him. And hopefully he doesn't make a difference in the series. But the one guy I was really, really surprised about was their goaltender, Juha Laurikainen. I honestly did not remember this guy. I went back to our past episodes. And basically, at one point, we were drafting, we found this Juha Laurikainen guy. He was a 20-year-old medium elite, and I was just like, I might as well take him just for the trade value and stuff like that. I don't remember if I traded him or if I basically just let him go or not, but yeah, he's now in Columbus. Never played a single game for our AHL team, which makes me think that obviously I didn't even sign him to his ELC, but you can see he played some games with the Washington Capitals as well. This is his first season in Columbus. Barely has any playoff experience, but this year he's rocking a .927 in this postseason run. So we got to go through him for sure. And yeah, that's basically it in terms of former players. So It's going to be a tough task. This Blue Jackets team definitely a lot better, I would say, in terms of depth than their overall rating and stuff suggests. But I think we definitely have a better chance against them than we would have against the Flyers, because the Flyers are a crazy crack team. But you can see the Blue Jackets have like kind of a good roster, but they won 43, 31, and 8. So maybe we're a team in Dynasty that's going to lose to a cheese team like the Blue Jackets, but I wouldn't really call them a cheese team either. Like, they're definitely over-simulating based on the regular season, but their roster is actually not too bad. So right now, the main concern I have with our team is definitely the goals against per game wise in terms of the playoffs, because we definitely haven't been keeping the puck out in the net, especially because our goaltending hasn't been super good at this point in time. If we go to the entire league in the playoffs, you can see that they're scoring 3.69 goals per game, which is pretty good offensively, but we're scoring 5.19, so our offense definitely a lot better. However, that goals against might play a major factor in this series. They're only allowing 2.56, we're allowing 4.19, yet somehow we're up here in the Cup Finals. So we need our goaltending to be much better if we want ourselves to win this Stanley Cup, and hopefully the Blue Jackets goaltending doesn't keep doing what it's been doing so far at this point. In terms of power play percentage, we've been better on the power play, but they've been way better on the penalty kill as well. So I'm hoping our goaltending could find itself, and also hopefully our penalty kill could do much better than it has done up to this point in time. But anyways, there's that. Let's get into you guys' only comment, and then we will get into the Stanley Cup Finals against Columbus and see if we could capture another Stanley Cup. So that comment is from Saturn Otaku, who says, obviously I'm happy that you're advancing, but sad that it's not going to be against Philadelphia. Looks like you have another Misa to get through. Giving Biggs a chance like he is like when Tampa Bay gave a young Andrei Vasilevsky a shot in the playoffs in 2015. It didn't end well for them, but hopefully you avoid the same fate in the finals. And yeah, Biggs was kind of a weird call-up for us to make, but I had to do it because the goaltending numbers have been atrocious here at this point in time. So we called up Biggs and gave him an opportunity to try and like get our goaltenders to maybe think twice about how they've played so far. Because you can see Per Bergfist, who's now played a couple games since then, has been pretty trash. Last year in the playoffs, he was fantastic. And then in terms of the regular season, he was fantastic. But during the playoffs, rocking an .868 through 11 games with a 4.18 goals against is definitely very bad. So I need him to play much better in this finals. And then the youngster in Mills, who's been playing as our backup, hasn't been super great either, rocking an .882 save percentage and a 4.14 goals against. And if we go to Biggs, who we called up, Biggs has been also not too great so far at this point. He did win his first game and play good in that, but after that, the second game that he won, he's rocking an .840 save percentage. So in general, we just can't get goaltending from any goalie right now. So I'm hoping that obviously that finds itself in this finals. I don't think it's based on our defensive core. I just think our goaltenders, for some reason, are just not finding ways to win, which is not or they're not finding ways to stop pucks, I should say. They're finding ways to win games, but it's more because our offense could outperform most other teams. And yeah, we're going to be running this lineup still to start the next current episode. So Walter will be still on the top line. Blunden will still be in the top six. Groshek's been a bit disappointing in terms of defense. Even though he's technically point per game, I'm going to be still running him as a third line left wing. But obviously, this could get all interchanged. And once the chance that Aiden Irving returns, I don't really know exactly what this lineup's going to look like, but it'll be really exciting to see if Blunden stays in the lineup, which he probably will, because obviously the 6 goals in 5 games is absolutely incredible. So let's see if this team could find a way to win again, because we've won... How much Stanley Cups have we won? We've won like 5 Stanley Cups already at this point. A lot of players on this roster, including Jaquezie, Vandermeer, Irving. Those guys are all going for their 5th Stanley Cups of their careers, so we'll see if we're able to grab another Stanley Cup here against the Blue Jackets. So we have home ice advantage, of course. Let's see what we could do here. Game number 1. Can we take this first game? And I almost want to go to a Game 7 just so Aiden Irving could potentially return. But at the same time, I want to win the Stanley Cup as fast as possible and not risk potentially losing in the finals, because we've never lost the Stanley Cup once we've got to the finals. So this might be the year that changes, but also could be the same thing again this year. So here we go. Let's see if our team could ride some momentum from last round and get it done. First period of game number 1. Scoreless. Hey, I'll take that. I'll take a scoreless first period. Like I said, the goaltending hasn't been great so far, so to have a scoreless first period is actually kind of nice. Obviously, I like our offense to be able to score goals, but at least we're not giving up goals right now either. So hopefully we have a good second period as well. The shots are 16-6 in favor of us after one. So we definitely are outplaying them, but the goaltending effort from their goaltender has been good so far. Of course, Lorakainen has to be that former pick of ours. Like I said, I honestly had no idea that we drafted him until I actually was scrolling through his stuff, and I saw he was drafted by us, and I was like, wait a second. And I went back to some old episodes and found a clip of me basically drafting that guy. So I actually did make the selection to draft him. It wasn't just like a random AI selection, which is kind of funny. But anyways, shot 16-6. Hopefully we can find a way to score a goal in the second period, and hopefully we can still play some good defense in front of our goalie. Second period. 2-1 Blue Jackets. Ugh. Goddard opened the scoring, which is good, but Johansson ties it up, and Henry Muse giving the Blue Jackets the lead. The shots are 32-11. See, this is where I'm a little bit skeptical because Bergqvist just cannot stop a beach ball. We should be easily winning this game right now, considering we're out shooting them by almost 3 times as much shots. However, Burke is allowing 2 goals on 11 shots. It is pretty typical of Bergqvist in this playoff run right now. We're completely outplaying them, kind of doing what the Florida Panthers did in game 1, or not what the Florida Panthers did, what the Edmonton Oilers did to the Florida Panthers in game 1, but we're still losing, just like the Edmonton Oilers. So, need to find a way to respond in this third period and tie this game up. Come on, boys. Let's tie this one up. We've been outplaying them. We just need 1 goal to tie it up. It's only game 1 as well, so don't get too down on yourselves here. Come on, boys, please. Who wants to tie it for us? Because if our offense dries up all of a sudden in this finals, then that's going to be problematic. Ken Johnson makes it 3-1. Well, this is exactly what I feared of. Jaquezie pulls us within 1 though late. Can we tie this game up? No, we can't. Power play goal there on the empty net. Yep, on the empty net from Hickey. And we lose game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, which is not great. We outshot them 42-25, but we lose 4-2. Now, 3 of those goals were allowed by Bergqvist, so it wasn't a terrible, terrible effort, but we outshot them, so we should have won. But our offense wasn't able to score enough. Like I said, though, if our offense all of a sudden just dries up for a little bit, that's going to be problematic. And if Columbus plays their defensive style, that's going to be problematic. So Goddard from Hurd and Vernarski, and then Jaquezie from Goldman and Groshek. Lorakainen, first star of the game. 40 saves. Yikes. Let me take a look at the plus minuses on this team. A couple -2 guys, Ekholm, Vandermeer, Backer, and Walter, huh? Well, we're going to make some adjustments. Blunden didn't even score in that game, which is kind of surprising. Just based on how he played against the LA Kings. I'm already going to make some adjustments, I think, after game 1. I need to find ways to get our offense going throughout the lineup again. Just, I feel like it's going to dry up if I don't make adjustments. So let's go. Groshek back to the top line. Walter back to the second line. Blunden back to the third line. And then we will swap Bickle and Ekholm. Anything else I want to change up here a bit? Let's go with Vernarski and Goddard instead. And then, yeah, Bergqvist has still been so bad. I'm going to go with Mills for a game. We're going to alternate between our goaltending again and see if one of them could run away with the wins, because Bergqvist is just, I don't know, he can't stop a beach ball for the life of him right now. So we need to win this next game, or else this is going to be another series where we're going to have to do what we did against the LA Kings, which is win 2 games on the road. So can we tie the series headed to Columbus, because or else we're in a bit of a tough spot going forward. Come on, guys. Use that experience we have from all of our playoff runs before this. I feel like we're a team of destiny right now, so I'm kind of a bit scared about this finals. But first period of game number 2. Scoreless again. Okay, I'll take it. We're being outshot 8-6, so not a lot of chances for both teams in that first period. And, kind of surprised that we've had some good first periods in terms of defense, but it seems like afterwards is when we need to be a bit more lenient on terms, or a little bit more stronger on the defensive side of things, because the second period last game obviously wasn't super good, and that lost us the game pretty much. So we need to be stronger defensively in the second period, and we need to find a way to score more goals, because right now we're definitely not playing the way we were playing in the first few rounds, where we scored like 8 goals in multiple games. So can we find a way to get the lead in the second period? Come on, boys, please. Second period. Hey, there we go. There's the team. Wilson scores on Askarov, so I don't know why Yaroslav Askarov's in net. Maybe an injury to Lorakainen, which would be huge. Power play goal, though, there from Wilson, and a short-handed goal from Bickle. That's a big goal. Shots are 24-16 in favor of the Blue Jackets, but somehow we are up 2-0, and we're actually getting some solid goaltending in this game. But will we get it in the final 20 minutes? Let's see if we could lock it down and tie the series up, headed to Columbus. Come on, guys. Just get an insurance marker and make me feel safe. Matsumoto, of course, has to be our former guy, and William Eklund ties it up. Of course, I talk about our goaltending being good, and then it all of a sudden fails in the third period. Hey, but we get the lead, and it's Reason, of all people. I believe that's his first goal of the playoffs. Maybe his second. But that's a huge goal from a fourth liner. And that's going to tie the series up. Well, that's good at least. We got outshot 40-27. We don't get outshot in most games. Mills picks up 38 saves. And he'll probably start next game based on that performance. A little bit risky in that, a little bit of the third period. But huge goal there from a fourth liner. Was not expecting Reason to score, because he doesn't score that often. Wow, okay. So Wilson from London and Ekholm, and then Bickle from Vandermeer and Hansen, and we had Reason from Vandermeer. So Reason with the 1 goal, Bickle with the 1 goal, Wilson with the 1 goal, London picking up an assist. A lot of players on 1 point, but Vandermeer had 2 assists, as he typically does. Mills the first star of the game, Bickle the second star, and Reason the third star. So yeah, Mills is definitely starting next game. We always got to run with the hot goalie and see if that can continue into the next game. That's more of what I'd like to see. But this is definitely a close series so far in these first 2 games. Hopefully we can find ways to score like 8 goals again in Columbus, because our offense definitely needs to be a little bit stronger if we want to guarantee wins. Because if we have to rely on our goaltending, we don't know for sure if our goalies are going to show up as really bad goalies or if they're going to show up as very good goalies. So yeah, we're going to go back to Mills again. He's been our best goalie so far in this postseason. Bergqvist will once again back up. And we'll keep the rest of this the same. Let me take a look and see when Aiden Irving's back again. I think it was the 10th it said last episode, but I don't remember. When is Aiden back? Yeah, the 10th. So he would be back literally for a Game 7 if there's a Game 7. That would be really interesting, him coming back from an injury in Game 7 and winning us the Stanley Cup. But at the same time, I would prefer to win the Stanley Cup as early as possible. But if we have to win the Cup without Aiden, so be it. All right. Well, we have a tie series, so we're going to keep the lineup the exact same. And we're going to run with Mills in net again and see if he can put up 2 back-to-back good performances. Because we haven't gotten that consistent goaltending yet in the postseason. So if he could play good in this game, maybe we found finally our guy to win us the Stanley Cup potentially. And I don't know what that means for Bergqvist, because we did just sign him to a big contract last offseason. He's a great regular season guy, but his playoff numbers right now just have not been there. So we shift the series into Columbus. Can we win some games on the road so far? We've been pretty good on the road. Can we win also in Ohio and take a 2-1 series lead? Come on, boys, please. Let's get another good defensive effort. First period of game number 3. 1-1, I'll take it. I mean, it's better than being... it's the exact same thing as being tied 0-0, basically. It's a little bit of offense, but not too much, which is not great. Shots are 11-7 in favor of us. It's a 1-1 game because, of course, former player Luke Misa opened the scoring, but Akeem Hansen scores. So our fourth line coming up with some big goals so far in this Cup Finals, which you love to see considering they haven't done that much offensively so far in this playoff run. Can we find a way to grab that lead in the second period? We have not had the lead yet in this game. Second period. 2-2. Okay, this is a very close game. Versteeg makes it 2-1. Bickle ties it up for us with only 2:42 left in the second. Shots are 25-14 in favor of us, so we're outplaying them, but once again, they're getting good efforts from Lorakainen, so that's a little bit scary. Actually, Askarov's in net again. Was he in net for the first goal? Yeah, he was. Maybe Lorakainen did get injured. I got to double check that after this game, because unless Lorakainen has been injured multiple times in both games, that would be definitely a big change in the series if Lorakainen actually was injured. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we can find a way to grab that lead, because like I said, we have not had the lead yet in this game, and a power play goal from Ekholm makes it 3-2. Let's go, Ekholm. Let's freaking go. Ekholm's been pretty good in playoffs before us. Like last year, he was really good with the OT winning goals, I'm pretty sure. Still up by 1. Final 5 minutes of this third period. And we are going to take our first lead of the series as we win the first game in Columbus by a score of 3-2, just like last game. Final shots 35-20, another close one, but we do edge them out. All right, let's take a look at those goals. So Hansen from Vandermeer and Reason, Bickle from Jaquizi and Groshek, and Ekholm from Vandermeer. Let's freaking go. Another solid effort from Mills. Wasn't the best save percentage-wise, but it's been better than what we've been getting from Bergqvist. So Mills is definitely going to start again in the next game. Misa the first star, Holmes the second star, Vandermeer the third star. Vandermeer's been the best offensive player for us so far in the series. He's got 4 assists. All right. So we're 2 wins away from winning another Stanley Cup. The question is Lorikainen actually injured for Columbus? Because he has not played in back-to-back games, so I don't know if the coaches just made an adjustment against us, that they want to go with Askarov instead, but you think that they wouldn't. Let's see. Oh, he was injured. Oh my goodness, that does not happen that often for me. Lorikainen was injured with a strained hamstring. He will return for Game 7 if needed. Wow. Okay, that and almost Slager got injured too in the series. I didn't even realize that. Their 89 overall defender has a neck strain. He's only out for a few more days, but literally we've had some good luck here potentially. The Columbus Blue Jackets have lost their top defenseman and their starting goalie. Wow. Yeah, so Baldwin's now in the top pairing. Versteeg was thrown into the lineup, and he did score last game. I'm pretty sure he's only played 1 game in the series, right? No, never mind. He hasn't played 1 game only in the series. Who was it that was added to defense? Oh, it was Johansson the forward. He was thrown back to defense instead, I guess. Yeah, I guess he was thrown back to defense, and then somebody else was moved back to forward. Yeah, DeMel is now on forward. Ah, okay. I can't see what they did. But now Grigorenko was called up as their backup. So that's why they're having to rely on Yaroslav Askarov so far. Wow. That does not happen that often where you see 2 guys, especially of those caliber players, getting injured in the first few games. That could very much help us against this Blue Jackets team, which is kind of nice. I don't like wishing injuries on players, but at least they're not real players, so at least it kind of helps it be a little bit more friendly in a sense. Okay, let's go back to Ed Lines and put Mills back in net again. Maybe I could start Bergqvist and actually win a game now, but I doubt it, so I'm not going to put Bergqvist in. We're going to go back to Mills again and keep the rest of this the same, I guess. Yep, should be good. Should be good. So now we don't really want it to go to Game 7, even if Aiden Irving is back. And that means Lorikainen would be back as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Like, if we go to a Game 7, we're getting our best goal scorer back. But we're also, the Blue Jackets are getting their starting goalie back. So you never know what could happen with that. All right, so I think we got to keep the team the exact same for the next game. We've won 2 games by only 1 goal. So it's still been close games even without Lorikainen for them. So it's a little bit scary on that sense. But if we win this game, we're 1 win away from winning another Stanley Cup. Can we do so and win another game in CBJ? Or is this the potential series that could go to 7 games? We'll see. Come on, guys, please. You got this. I believe in you. Let's get some offense from some top 6 guys a little bit because they've been a bit quiet here so far. First period of game number 4. 1-1 again. This has been a very tight series. Very tight. At least these last few games. Luke Misa opens the scoring to make it 1-0. Then Blunden gets his first goal of the series. He hasn't scored since the Kings series, but good to see the youngster back on the board. Shots are 10-9 in favor of us, but it is a 1-1 game. Can we find a way to get our lead? Because we've barely had the lead in these last few games as well. But we've been able to find those goals in the third period, which matters most. So, can we have a good second period ahead of us? Let's see what happens. Second period. 4-1 us. There's the offense, I know. Goldman, Jaquizi, and Groshek scores on the power play. And there's the top guys scoring as well. Shots are 21-19 in favor of us. We are a period away from taking a 3-1 series lead. Can we lock this one down and be 1 win away? Let's see what happens in this third period. Come on, guys. Just lock it down defensively. Don't even think about getting more goals unless it's needed. Kent Johnson gets the Blue Jackets within 2. Not ideal. Hey, big goal from Esteban Walter to restore that 3-goal advantage. You'd love to see it. Good to see our top 6 scoring goals now that I called them out. Because like I said, they had been a little bit quiet in the series so far at this point. And Bulbrook makes it 6-2. That goalie injury might have played a huge factor in the series because Askarov definitely not doing as strong as Lorakainen was. Final shots 32-31 in favor of the Blue Jackets, but we win by 4 goals and win 6-2 as our offense has found itself like it was in the first 3 rounds. Let's freaking go. And we're finally starting to find ourselves goaltending-wise, too, which is very, very nice. Blunden from Goldman and Bulbrook. Goldman from Vandermeer and Blunden. Jaquizi from Bickle and Groshek. Groshek from Bickle and Goldman. Walter from Bulbrook and Vernarski. And Bulbrook from Goldman and Blunden. I feel like I said a lot of those names repetitively. Yeah, Goldman 4 points. Blunden on 3 points. This guy's a goat. Bulbrook 3 points. Groshek and Bickle on 2 points. A couple guys on 1 point. And, of course, we also got a great goaltending performance again from Mills. So Mills might be the guy that's in net when we win a Stanley Cup, potentially. Goldman first star, Bulbrook second star, Blunden the third star. So that's all the third line getting it done there. Love to see it. So, yeah, Mills will probably start next game, which means Bergqvist will be on the bench on a chance to win the Stanley Cup. And look at this. Aiden Irving is back a couple days early. Well, actually, he's not back to full health, which kind of sucks. But he will be back for a chance to win the Stanley Cup, which means we got to send somebody down to the AHL. I guess I'm going to have to send down... Who do I want to send down? Oh, boy. I guess I could send down a defenseman because I haven't been using Greer, really, at all. He's only played the 1 game. I'm going to send down Greer as the guy that send him down. Because I don't want to send down Blunden after what he's provided us. So Blunden was playing exactly where Irving was, right? Yeah, he is. Okay. So I got to take Blunden out briefly. But Aiden is not fully healthy, right? Oh, yeah, he's not fully healthy. That's so risky. So risky. Do I put him in? Do I put him in? Do I put him in? I would probably scratch Reason if I did that. I don't want Blunden as a 4th liner, though, but you could get power play time still, too. This is a tough decision. I'm leaning towards getting rid of Groshek in the offseason, too. I will talk about that once we get to next episode, probably, but... or at the end of this episode. Let's take Blunden out for the time being so I could get Irving in. I don't really want to put Aiden in since he's fully not healthy, but at the same time, he's the GOAT. He should be in this lineup. So we'll get him in, Groshek, Walter. Yeah, I think we got to actually play Blunden as a 4th liner right now. Which is not really what I had in mind, because I really like the guy, but right now, that's the only thing I could see that works. And where would I put Blunden in on this power play? Can I throw him into this power play even? No, I can't really. There's not really anywhere I could slot him in. Is he still on the PK? No. Yeah, I don't think there's any way I could get Blunden any more ice time. Unfortunately, he's going to have to be a 4th liner. At least he's listed as a 3rd line checking for, but he's been so great so far in this playoff. So doing this is such a bummer to do, but we got to do it right now. Wow. Yeah, okay. All right. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a risk putting Aiden back in. I could have probably waited a little bit, but at the same time, if we win the Stanley Cup without him, I would hate to not see him in the cutscene getting that Stanley Cup. So, I think we are good. I think we are good. Let me actually make sure that Mills is in net because I don't want Bergqvist in. No offense to Bergqvist. He's gotten us wins and he's played great in the regular season, but right now it seems like Mills is the guy playoff-wise, so gotta run with the hot goalie. Yeah, Mills is over 900 right now. Bergqvist still on that 868, so we gotta go with Mills. And we'll see if the return of the captain can get us a little bit of a boost. Like, we have some really good left wingers right now. Irving's technically not even a left winger, but I wouldn't put him on the right side, I don't think. Because if I did that, I would have to move either Jaquizi to the 3rd line. I'd have to put Bulbrook as a 4th liner that way. So this is the best we could do in terms of keeping Blunden in the lineup, which he deserves to be in the lineup. So even though Reason has scored a goal in the series, he gets scratched, unfortunately. And we go to Game 5, looking to close out the Blue Jackets. Is Lorakainen back as well? That's actually something I should take a look at. I believe Slager won't be back till the next game unless they threw him in the lineup already, which he could be back. So they might be playing some injured guys as well. Let's see. Did Slager get thrown back in? Yes, he did. Okay, so Slager and Irving, both injured, are going to be playing. And there is no return yet for Warkainen. He will be still out for a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Slager and Irving both come out of this healthy, if there's another game left still of the series. All right. A chance to win the Stanley Cup on home ice. We've won so many Stanley Cups. I don't remember how much we've won on home ice before, but let's give our fans a treat again. As Aiden Irving returns, he is getting up there in age as well, so this could be one of his last playoff runs potentially. You never know if his team doesn't go back for another Stanley Cup next year. But can we win the Stanley Cup on home ice against the Blue Jackets with the return of our captain? Let's see what happens here. First period of Game 5. 1-0 for us after one. I like it. It was an early goal, too, from Esteban Walter. Only 28 seconds in. I almost did 18, but my math would have been off. Shots are 12-10 in favor of Columbus. But a good start from our team defensively. Not the best offensive start, but at least we have a 1-0 lead. It's not like we're trailing after one, so definitely really like that so far. Can we find a way to get some insurance in the second period? So that way we could be on like cruise control for the third period, or is this game going to get any tighter? Second period. Still 1-0 us, okay. Shots 22-16 in favor of the Blue Jackets. But we are a period away from potentially winning another Stanley Cup. Obviously, if we have a chance to do so, we'll intervene. But right now, we're actually getting some good goaltending in this Cup Finals, which is about time. Let's see if we can lock this one down in the third period. Come on, boys. Penalty kill to start the third period. We kill it off. That's a huge penalty kill. Power play for us. We do not score. Penalty kill again. We kill it off. Still up by 1 goal only. Penalty kill again. We're going to have to intervene here with 5 minutes left. I know it's a little bit of risky considering we're only up by 1, but I don't want to risk missing a chance at potentially winning the Stanley Cup. So let's go back with these jerseys again since they're awesome. And we'll leave Columbus on that. And I wanted to remove my face, so let's do that too. And let's see if we can hold them off. If we don't hold them off, obviously we'll go to a Game 6, but might as well watch it. I do really like watching these AI games anyways, so even if somehow we lose this, at least we'll get to see some more AI action with our team. Alright, can we hold them off for 6 more minutes? Aiden Irving being back out there is awesome to see. At least he hasn't been banged up yet. Aiden will skate after Versteeg. Come on, guys. You got this. Just got to kill off 6 minutes. Matsumoto, our former guy, walks right in and Mills makes the save. Matsumoto must be like, man, I wish I would never have left Winnipeg, but we had to trade him. We just had to. He just got completely rocked, though. I don't know who hit him, but somebody destroyed him. Okay. Kind of surprised William Eklund is #1 in hits in the playoffs. I didn't think he was much of a guy to do that, but oh well. Bickle at the draw. Can't win it. Slager, who's also coming back from injury, can't get a shot. Jaquezi with it. Finds it up to the captain, Aiden Irving. Aiden with it. Carries it in. Throws it out front. Bickle scores! Let's go! Huge goal there from Bickle as he celebrates right in Askarov's face. Aiden Irving picks up a huge assist in his first game back, finding Jerry Bickle for his 13th goal of the playoffs. That might be the one that we needed to decide if we win the Stanley Cup again. What a shot from Bickle, too. Askarov got a piece of it, but not enough. That's a huge goal. I might be able to lock this game down. As, of course, is that Nick Ehlers? Winnipeg's head coach takes a... Yeah, I think that might be Nick Ehlers. If Nick Ehlers is the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets as well, that's hilarious, because he won a cup with us, obviously. I feel like that is Nick Ehlers, unless that's just a guy that looks like Nick Ehlers. I don't know if Nick Ehlers became a coach when he retired. That's hilarious, though. Misa walks in and he scores. Oh, boy. Luke Misa gets one right back for the Blue Jackets, of course, against his former team. That goal by Bickle is huge at this point, and our fans are a little bit scared here. At least it's not like a game where we could lose the Cup Finals, but still, we don't want to blow this game here. Just a little bit of a screen that backer had on Mills, and he's not able to get that on the blocker side. And once again, it's a 1-goal game. Luke Misa is also the assistant captain of the Blue Jackets, apparently, as he moves into second place on their team in goals. All right, Bickle, Irving, Jaquezi still out there. Come on, guys. You got time to hold them off. He can do it. Vandermeer with it, makes a great play, finds it to Aiden, he finds it to Bickle. Bickle walks in, can't get the shot through, and then it goes to Askarov, and he'll be forced to freeze it. Still 3:25 left in this third period. Still a ton of time for some dramatic plays, so we'll be interested to see what ends up happening in this final 3 minutes. Come on, Bickle, win this offensive zone draw for me, boy. I can't win it. Henry Muse with it. Muse throws it over to Misa. Misa gets crunched by Vandermeer. I love Vandermeer. He's so fun to watch on that defensive end. Vandermeer with it again, making some moves. Vandermeer can't get the shot because it's off of a stick. Henry Muse throws it up to Misa. Luke Misa, get it away. Throws it in. Backer with a great stick. Huge stick there by Backer. He finds his defense partner, Vandermeer, who carries it in. Vandermeer can't get by. Bickle shoots it. Can't get much on it. Gets his rebound. Askarov will save it with 1:09 left. Whew, we're almost into that final minute. Almost there. Oh, the Stanley Cup is coming out, which is kind of risky considering there's still a minute left. You'd think they wouldn't have these cutscenes if you're only up by 1 goal, as you never know what would happen in the final minute. Oh boy. Looks like some WWE stuff was nearby, apparently, because there's a ladder, there's a table. Like somebody's going to get RKO'd out of nowhere or something. Bickle at the draw against William Eklund. And Bickle wins it. Backer to Vandermeer. He shoots. It's blocked off a body. Jacquezie over to Vandermeer. Over to Backer. His shot doesn't get into, or it does get to the net, but it doesn't get in. Bickle takes it. Threatens Jacquezie. Can't get anything. We're almost having full pressure in the final minute. A chance for Aiden. He's turned away. Bickle over to Vandermeer. We're killing time off the clock, which is good. Irving can't get it in. And they're into the final 15 seconds. Just like that. And they're going to pull their goalie. Muse gets crunched by Vandermeer. Oh my goodness, Vandermeer carries it up, finds Aiden, and he just missed the empty net. But that's enough time. The Winnipeg Jets have done it again. Another back-to-back Stanley Cup championship. Let's freaking go. It would have been nice if Aiden got that empty netter, but there's the huge win. The team has done it again. 6 Stanley Cups now in franchise history as the Winnipeg Jets keep climbing those record books. We still have a lot of time to win more cups too, which is the insane thing. A lot of these guys won 5 cups already, which is also kind of insane. Wow. Aiden Irving being back is huge for this team. And Will Vandermeer is going to be the Conn Smythe winner. Maybe the first defenseman I've seen to win the Conn Smythe in quite some time. Wow. He played great defensively in that last few minutes as well. Big hits, great defensive plays. Yeah, he could do it all as an OFD. I love Will Vandermeer. Maybe one of my favorite players in this series other than Aiden Irving. Alright, so Captain Aiden will come over to grab the Stanley Cup, even though he's still got a shoulder injury. He should be coming in like an arm sling, kind of like what Doug Weight did when Doug Weight won the Stanley Cup with Carolina, having to carry it with like an injured shoulder. So Aiden Irving, despite this heavy Stanley Cup, he's still carrying it. Let's boom. There we go. Aiden again. We've won so much. That's his 5th Stanley Cup, like I said. A lot of other guys have won 5 cups. It'll be interesting to see if he passes it to players that have not had to hoist it yet in these cutscenes. Maybe he'll put it to Blunden. I'll be okay with Blunden or Mills or somebody like that, because a lot of those guys are kind of new to the roster. So who is he going to pass it to? Connor Venarski. I think Connor Venarski's gotten already to hoist it once before, but Connor Venarski's been here a long time. He's been a great defenseman. He's won 5 Stanley Cups at least, I think, with us, maybe 4. But he's been a very useful player on this blue line. Some big goals in his past. And he's also got like some sick hair too. Who is he going to pass it off to next? Who is he going to pass it off to? There's a lot of good names on this list. He's going to go to Jerry Bickle. I don't mind it. Jerry Bickle, I don't know if he's gotten a cutscene with the cup yet. If he has, I completely forget when it was. But Bickle's been here for a number of these Stanley Cup wins as well. Not sure if he's been here for 5 or 4 or 3, but he's been a really good player and very useful second/first line center. Because I think Ekholm might take the top line center eventually at some point full time. And then the last player that's going to get the Stanley Cup in this year is going to be Arthur Jacquezie. I don't mind it. I don't think Jacquezie's gotten a chance to troll with it yet. Maybe he has as well. But there he is. He doesn't have any facial hair in the playoffs, but he's a clean-shaven Stanley Cup winner again. He's definitely been here for, I think, 5 cups at least. There we go. So no goalie in this cutscene, which is interesting. But there's the guys that got the Stanley Cup, and Aiden Irving clapping. Love to see it. And now the team picture. Bergqvist was in the net for the Stanley Cup win, but that's okay. Maybe that's also... Actually, no, that wouldn't be why, because Bergqvist would definitely not be close to winning Conn Smythe. But there is the guys holding up the 2 fingers, because obviously it's a back-to-back again. And we've won so many Stanley Cups at this point. Like, I think we've won like 6... Or how much have we won in the last, like, 5 years? I'm curious to look at that once we get to the awards. But every single name on this list is going to be exciting to look at. Let me actually mute this part of this thing on my thing. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to hear this soundtrack part because this part is copyrighted, so I don't want to talk about it. But there's the team. Irving, Backer, Bergqvist, Bickle, Biggs, Blunden, Bulbrook, Ekholm, Goddard, Goldman, Groshek, Hansen, Hurd, Jaquezie, Lannon, Mills, Reese, Reason, Scarlett, Vandermeer, Fernarski, Walter, and Caden Wilson. 2038 Stanley Cup champions. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. Third star of the game is going to Jerry Bickle with what proved to be the game-winning goal. We just saw the cup winner, basically. Huge goal from Bickle there to celebrate in Askarov's face. Askarov got second star of the game. He kept his team in the game. He actually played pretty good against us, but he didn't do enough, I guess. And the first star of the game going to Mills. Shout out to Mills. Finally got some consistent goaltending right at the right time, and he managed to help us win that Stanley Cup as well. No multi-point players, but bang. That is great to see. So Vandermeer winning the Conn Smythe. I didn't think he was up there that much in points, but I guess he led the team in points because of Aiden's injury and stuff like that. But there we go. Another Stanley Cup win. Let's take a look at the player stats. Bickle actually could have won it with those 26 points, so I'm surprised they gave it to Vandermeer. I'm really surprised, unless for some reason it was just glitched in the celebration. But let's take a look at these player stats. So yeah, Bickle had 26 points, was plus 12. You had Ekholm on 24 points, Goldman on 21. Yeah, that center depth is awesome. Hansen on 6, Jamal Hurd on 5. You had Groshek on 20 points, but was somehow a -7. I don't understand how that's possible, but I'm leaning towards potentially moving him away in the offseason, because Esteban Walter should be up there in the top 6 as well. 18 points in 21 games. Walter was fantastic. Blunden was really good since calling him up. 7 goals and 11 points in 10 games. Reason with 5 points in 20 games. And then Lannon only played the 1 game. Right wing wise, Jaquezie on 26 points. Wilson on 22. Irving on 20. And only 11 games. That's actually insane. And then Bulbrook 16. So from a forward perspective, you could definitely see why we win Stanley Cups when we're getting this good depth scoring. We had a lot of 8-goal games in these playoffs, and everybody contributed to this team quite a bit. From a defensive standpoint, Vandermeer, who won the Conn Smythe apparently, was also plus 19, so maybe it was the plus-minus that had a little bit of an edge for him because he didn't have the most points on the team, but he was the Conn Smythe winner. Goddard on 17 points was great as well. Fernarski on 5 points, only a plus 2, which is not great, but Backer a plus 19. Insanely good defensively. Quentin Reese 4 points, and then Scarlett had nothing, somehow was -3. Actually, he had 3 goals, I should say, not nothing. Goaltending wise, Bergqvist on an 868 was not good, but look at Mills. He stepped up big time. 7-2 with a 912 save percentage because of that Stanley Cup Finals. So we might not have got the best goaltending in the world, but Mills definitely helped out for Bergqvist, who might have won a Vezina this season. So there is that. Let me actually take a look at Bickle for a second here. So yeah, he's won so many Stanley Cups. So we should have won now technically 4 Stanley Cups in the last 5 years. I don't even remember how much we've won, but we'll definitely take a look at that at the award portion of this. All right, so another Stanley Cup win. And it was pretty much cruise control except for the round against the LA Kings. Because basically LA took us to 7 games. Every other team only got us to 5 games. So it only took a total of, how many games? 20 games to win the Stanley Cup, or 21 games? Yeah, only 21 games to win the Stanley Cup. Love to see it. Now the question is, who's going to win the AHL? Because we should get a notification about that soon. There you go. Toronto Marlies have won the Calder Cup in 2038. Okay. So now the question is the awards for this season. So obviously, yep, 4 Stanley Cups for us in the last 5 years. That is definitely my best stretch of hockey ever, and I think we've also won 5 in our last 6, but I could be completely wrong with that, but that definitely deserves a screenshot, this page, because that is friggin' incredible. And we didn't win the President's Trophy this year, but we definitely came very close to winning it. So Philadelphia just edged us out by 1 point. If we would have won the President's Trophy this year, I feel like we would have suffered the same fate as the Flyers did. But you never know. And yeah, geez. So many Stanley Cup wins. That's kind of insane that I've done this good. And then Yanni Koivisto wins his second straight Art Rawson, third in the last 5 years. That guy's been insane. Pekka Koivisto wins the Hart. His brother won it last year. Budens wins the Norris. So unfortunately, like we were saying, because of the plus-minus, Vandermeer doesn't get the Norris this year, but he definitely could have won it if they didn't look at plus-minuses heavily. That sucks. Logan Cooley wins the Lady Byng. Granado for Washington wins the Calder. Okay, that's interesting. That's the former first overall pick. Will Vandermeer did win the Conn Smythe, which is incredible. Obviously, Michael Misa won it 2 times for us before he got dealt. Chikwueze won it last year. And Will Vandermeer wins it this year, so it was based on the plus-minus probably. But Will Vandermeer may be the first defenseman in quite some time to win the Conn Smythe. And then Per Bergqvist did win the Vezina Trophy this season. However, he wasn't the guy in the playoffs ruling, which is kind of insane. So shout out to Per Bergqvist winning his first Vezina of his career. He also won the Jennings. Roloff for Arizona wins the Masterton. Ottawa's coach wins the Jack Adams. Bachman wins the Selke. Koivisto, the Ted Lindsay. His brother won it last year. And Koivisto, back-to-back Maurice Richards after his brother won it 5 years ago. AHL-wise, any awards for our AHL affiliate? Probably not, but you never know. No, nobody I see. Actually, wait, no, that's the other Laura Kynan. I was going to say, All right, so there's that. Let's take a look at, what was I going to take a look at? I was going to take a look at, like, the off-season retirements, I guess, and stuff. Wrap up the season. Oh, boy. I don't think we're going to have any retirements yet, but Aiden Irving's definitely getting close. So Detroit, the first overall pick this year. Carolina, Dallas, and Edmonton. And then also Toronto is your top 5. All right. All right. View retired players. Who retired this season? Austin Matthews is retired. Wow, okay. We're into this weird stage now. Let's just go by each position. So, yeah, Austin Matthews retires with over 2,000 points. In Vegas, too, which is interesting. Elias Pettersson retires. Nico Hischier. Cole Perfetti, our former captain, who won 1 Stanley Cup with us, I think, back in the early stages, has retired with the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, he won a Stanley Cup with us right there in 2031, and then I believe he won in 2032 with New Jersey. Afterwards, didn't make the playoffs as much. Wow, shout out to Cole Perfetti for a great career. Marco Rossi. Wow, kind of crazy we're at this stage where all these type of guys are retiring. Ryan McLeod was another one that won a Stanley Cup with us, I believe, in the early years, yeah. He was a huge addition to the 4th line to help us win that Stanley Cup back in 2031. That felt a lot longer ago than 2031, but it was only 7 seasons ago. Probably because we've won to so many Stanley Cup Finals that these seasons have taken a lot longer. In terms of left wingers, Matt Boley retires. A lot of good Minnesota Wild players retiring. Tolvanen. Right wing wise, Seth Jarvis, Kalluri Yamamoto and such. Okay. In terms of defenders, Miro Heiskanen retires with the Vancouver Canucks. Evan Bouchard, Bo Byram. Some pretty good defenders as well. Didn't Kolyachonok play with our NHL team at one point? I feel like he did. He did. In the early stages before the Cup wins. That's right. I thought so. Thought I remember having him. Was very vague in my memory, though. So there is that. In terms of goalies, Joel Hofer retires. Lucas Dostal, who played with us for a bit, retires. Nikita Kwop. Okay. But when did Dostal play with us? Did he... Actually, he played recently, too, with us again, right? No, he didn't. I think he was... Yeah, he was definitely there before our Cup wins. Definitely there before our Cup wins. So there is the Dostal. And Thomas Milic as well, I think, actually played with our NHL team too, right? Our AHL team at least, right? Yeah, he played with our... Actually, he played 1 game on our NHL team. And was actually pretty damn good in that game. Yeah, I remember those days with Thomas Milic. Interesting. So there's the retirements for 2038. Nico Hischier is now a head coach. Not Martin Gelinas. Matthew Gelinas from our scouts has retired. So if you guys could remind me to sign an OHL scout, that would be great, because I might forget. What else we got here? Any coach retirements? Richard Stastny. That was not our head coach, right? That better not have been. I don't think it was. Because our head coach has won so many Stanley Cups at this point. That better not have been him. I don't think it was, though. I don't think it was. No, it wasn't our head coach. That was our goalie coach again, okay. But our head coach now, in case you guys want to take a look at his ridiculous NHL career. This guy is probably one of the best coaches we've ever seen. He's 503, 189, and 46 in his career. He's won 5 Stanley Cups and 6 President's Trophies. Jesus. What a goat. He's won us all these games during the seasons since he was a coach in Boston. And then in the playoffs, he's been insanely good, especially over the last 5 years. But he was also there for our first cup win, too, our second cup win. So he's won 5 Stanley Cups just with us alone. Wasn't super good when he was with Boston, but then we took a chance on him, and he has been perfect for this team. The only thing is he's 66 now, so he could be getting closer to retirement age. But he's been fantastic. So there is that. Final few things we got to do to wrap up this episode. Let's take a look at the contract situation, the progress reports, and the upcoming draft class. So in terms of contracts, who's up for renewal this offseason? Oh yeah, we have a tough offseason ahead, that's right. A lot of RFAs to deal with. So Ekholm, Goldman, Bulbrook, and Hansen, all RFAs. Most of those guys are going to want some big bucks. The question is, what do we do in terms of term and money? Because Ekholm is a guy that's going to try and get $16 million if you try and give him 8 years. So he's very pricey. Goldman is only an RFA for a few more years. He's also wanting to get paid $7 to $9 million bucks. We could always trade away his rights or something like that, or just qualify him. Bulbrook is the kind of guy that wants to maybe get into the top 6 next season. He's going to want $5 million bucks. 7 if he goes 8 years. And then Akeem Hansen is relatively cheap still, but he's also wanting 2.5. Wow. I don't really know what to do with that RFA situation. Scarlett, Hurd, and Mishenko are all UFAs. Probably we could replace Scarlett, but I could hold on to him. He's been here for a long time. Hurd and Mishenko don't matter too much, and then we have a lot of other kind of bottom 6 type of options and depth guys. So it's mainly those top RFAs that we got to worry about. Is these 4 guys, and then maybe Scarlett. In terms of goalies, we just got Biggs basically to deal with, and we also have Kalinin, who is a medium elite. So there's that. So it's a little bit of a weird contract situation, but most guys are signed for next year, which is great. However, we also got to think a little bit smartly with our contracts, because Grosek obviously being a pending UFA, or going into the last year of his contract, maybe we trade him to free up cap space. Vandermeer's only got a couple years left before he's a UFA. We don't want to be giving too much money to some of these guys, or else we're going to be in cap hell. So trading away somebody like Goldman might make sense. Walter's also going to be an RFA in a few years. We might have to make some tough decisions with the score going forward, which is a bit scary. In terms of progress reports, any good growth from guys in the system or on the NHL team? Let's take a look at this. So Blundin's getting obviously a lot of growth. Obviously he'll be a full-time NHLer next season. And that's why I'm thinking we probably move on from Grosek, is because Blundin should be a third liner. Walter should be in the top 6. And obviously we'll have Irving as a first line left winger. So I might honestly think about trading away Grosek at the draft. You guys can let me know if that makes any sense. But in terms of other guys that got growth, Mills is up to an 83 and listed as a starting goalie. Do we try and trade Bergqvist already, or do we just use Mills as a backup? I don't really know on that scenario. That's another definite thing that we need to look into. Goldman didn't grow at all, so that's where I'm thinking of maybe trading him. He is listed as a second line forward, so trading away Goldman's rights might be something we'd look into as well. In terms of in the system, let's go by each position here. Starting with centers, Holmquist is up to a 62 at 19, not too bad for the medium elite. Seth Baker up to a 76, almost listed as a fourth line guy / depth option. Wayne Cutler up to a 68 as a low elite to 21. Now we're getting some good growth. Yeah, we already have so much good prospects too, like Kang, for instance. Like, we have guys that could definitely be in our fourth line next year. Like, Walter Timmons technically could be jumping up too next year. So, we have so many tough decisions to make with this team, and it's actually kind of overwhelming. Ricardo Bigris is getting some growth as well. All right. Depent up to 67 at 22. So there is the defensive prospects. Goalie prospect-wise, Sutter up to a 51. Kalinin still at 67 like we just saw. Biggs not really getting much growth, so I don't know what we do with Damian Biggs. We'll probably qualify him at least, but So there's that. And then in terms of the draft class, because of course we have multiple picks in this year's draft too, I think. Yeah, we have 2 first-round picks still. Because the LA Kings gave us their first round during that Michael Misa trade. We also have 2 seconds, 3 third-round picks, 3 fourth-round picks, a 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. So we could try and move up in this year's draft, or we could try trading for future drafts. I would suggest holding on to our first, maybe few picks at least, but afterwards we could easily trade these for some of the thirds if we really want to. But it depends on, I guess, what this draft class looks like. Because if this draft class looks good, maybe we want to hold on to all our picks. What do we got? What do we got? So, since we have 2 late first-round picks, we don't even really care too much about these early guys, but it's looking like just the normal standard draft for the most part here early on. But in terms of late-round picks, is there anything really that intriguing? Oh, this guy's kind of intriguing, this Malkin guy. But he's, he might not be that good. He's probably just a normal top 6. Now there's a top 4 that's listed as a gem, but 3 years out. There's the Dale Griffith guy, who's a gem, but 3 years out. Might be a low elite. So Griffith could be intriguing. Yeah, this looks like a pretty standard draft, to be honest. Any guaranteed low elites or medium elites for later rounds? Maybe Mateo Hood. Maybe not. Probably not. Yeah, this draft class might not be super strong. It might be decent, but it might not be super great either. Corbin Sampson. Corbin Sampson actually looks pretty good in terms of balance. He's just not good skating-wise. But he is 20 years old, so he'd be a really late pick probably. And then Toby Phillips is a goalie, 4 years out. It's not bad, but he's supposed to go undrafted. I don't think Toby Phillips is actually a low elite, though, because I don't think I've ever seen a low elite goalie in a draft. So I'm guessing this guy's like a low starter or something instead. Pre-stap. Yeah, I don't really know about this draft class. We could easily trade away some of our picks, though, for like a future draft or something like that. Let me also take a look at the morale on this team for fun. 80% locker room chemistry on this NHL team. Damn, man. That's why I don't want to break up this team as much as I have to in the offseason. 50% in the AHL, damn. Wow. Well, a lot of these guys have won a ton of Stanley Cups at this point, so it makes sense. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to another draft and re-sign stage. We're going to probably make some drastic decisions for next season, depending on what you guys think. But we've won 6 Stanley Cups, so I don't really care too much. But at the same time, I wish I could keep this core intact for all their entire careers. But we're going to have to definitely break it up a little bit. And I think moving Groshek is probably one of the things I would be leaning towards doing. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.